No matter what you're into or in the mood for, you can find it on the PFC Entertainment Network, a week filled with engaging and entertaining podcasts. The week starts with Creepy Soup on Sundays. The Klaus to the Heart podcast drops on Tuesdays. Jason Klaus and Sean Grugel bring you Power Trippin' Through the 80s on Wednesday and The Hot Tag on Thursdays. If real sports are your thing, Thursdays also see new episodes of the Sports Reel podcast with Tim Sheridan. And on alternating weeks, you will hear new episodes of the Real Podcast, Pro Wrestling Rewind, Tea Time, and the Potato Pals Perspective. And check out the archives for previous episodes of On That Note, Say What, and Shh, We Don't Talk About That. Search for the PFC Entertainment Network on Spotify, Riverside.fm, iTunes, YouTube, iHeartRadio, and Amazon Music. The Pure Fury Creations Entertainment Network. Audio with attitude.
This episode is rated M for mature audiences. The views and opinions expressed on this show are those of the speaker and do not necessarily reflect those of the PFC Entertainment Network or any of the affiliates that make this show possible.
This is the Pure Fury Creations Entertainment Network.
This is Creepy Soup on the PFC Entertainment Network.
Hello. Welcome to episode 116, I believe, of Creepy Soup.
Oopsie.
She just let out the biggest man burp I think I've ever heard out of you.
I just took a huge sip of pop. I'm sorry. It was very unexpected.
And it was funny. So
obviously.
So we're recording early Saturday morning, so we're gonna record this. I'm shipping it off to Jason ASAP. But we were supposed to record last night, and I even tried to entice this one with a treat.
What kind of treat?
Okay, well, you weren't up, so I ate it.
What was it?
I got you a hot fudge sundae.
Son of a bitch. I would have woke up for that.
No. You knew.
It would have gave me... It's sugar. It would have woke me up.
You knew.
No, I didn't.
I told you I was getting a treat. I just didn't tell you what I was getting. Because at the time, I didn't know.
So stupid.
Oh. We both have to work today, so...
Yeah, I gotta work a 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. shift, so I'm half dead.
Yeah.
That's why I didn't get up last night.
I worked a 9 yesterday, which I know is not a 12-hour shift, but...
Yeah, but see, lucky you, even if a 9-hour shift, you still get to go home and go to bed and cuddle with your man and go to night-night, whereas I'm up and not doing that.
Yeah.
I have to be...
Well, look, I've been in your shoes. Literally. I did the same shit you're doing now, and I did a lot of 12-hour shifts. I believe it was your boss that initially talked about 12-hour shifts, doing a couple of those a week and a couple of 8 hours, and having an extra day off.
Well, yeah,
and I was like,
if you do it that way,
I'm all for that.
Right, because if you do it that way, you don't need so many staff.
Yeah, because you guys were still a teenager.
Yeah.
Your brother was just entering the double digits, and I wanted that extra day with you little assholes.
Why?
I don't know.
See, I kind of do want to talk to her about it because I feel like if I could get my 40 hours in within 3 days or 4,
Yeah.
I'd be totally for it.
Yeah. It's nice. I know the one summer when I was a temp at Delphi when they were closing it down. We did 4 10-hour shifts and had a 3-day weekend.
Yeah.
Which was really nice. And then we were lucky enough that if we had to work overtime, it was only 8 hours, and that seemed like a fucking cakewalk.
Right. But it's just, I would rather do like a 6A to 6P because that, I could get sleep, but, I have hump trophies that are little fuckers. So I don't get to sleep that whole time I'm up before a 6 p.m. shift. And if I gotta stay until 6 a.m., I'm up not only for that 12 hours.
Start drinking coffee. By the way, don't forget merch. PFC store. .printify.me. Keeps your coffee
That was
nice.
a hard swallow.
I know. No.
Oh my god.
Daddy likes it.
Shot you.
Anywho.
In public, Mom. In public.
So, yeah. Do you want to tell the audience about your new endeavor?
Oh, yes. Me and my coworker, something that we've always wanted to do, we wanted our own podcast. So we were talking, because we had some things in common. We both listened to the same podcast, and I even actually got her into watching my mom's. So we came to the conclusion we would love to get together to create some awesome stuff and put together our own podcast. So that's what we're doing. We just recorded. We haven't decided to do video yet until she's comfortable. Obviously, it took me at least one go around to be comfortable before I'm able to be so talkative and out there. So she needs to get comfortable herself. So we're just gonna stick with, how my mom was in the very beginning of hers, just, strictly Spotify, no video, no nothing. So we're gonna do that. We decided to come up with the name Dark Dahlia for ours. So hopefully soon we can spit out some awesome stuff for you guys. We also did a shout out in our intro for you.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
So, let's talk about last Sunday a little bit. They wanted to talk to me about a little advice on how to get started and things like that, and I had actually texted Jason during, because since we have switched over to PFC Network, I have not uploaded anything to Spotify. Jason takes care of that. I continued with the YouTube. But one of the first things you got to do is you got to come up with a name. So I'm trying to help them come up with a name, which you ended up coming up with it all by yourself. So I'm like, okay. I asked them about their favorite horror movies, and hers is Scream, and Liz said hers was The Unholy, and I'm like, how about Scream at the Unholy?
And we both looked at her like, what the fuck?
Yeah, you know what? I'm used to that look. I get it a lot.
Yeah,
I don't even notice.
What the fuck is wrong?
I don't
with
even
you?
notice it anymore.
Yeah, she's asked that like 1,000,001 times a fucking day, every day.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot to put this on Do Not Disturb. What else? Oh, because I'm also big on wordplay. Like, there was a situation several years ago at work where I was told I had keys. I was told to key something out that I was not allowed to key out. And I got in a wee bit of trouble, but it was whatever.
I mean, you should have gotten in trouble if you were told to do it.
I mean, it was a wee bit, and then, like, at the end, I got an apology and offered a cupcake. So it was fine.
I want a cupcake.
So I'm sitting there, and all I can think of is, I need a shirt made to commemorate this. So I found a girl that I work with that makes shirts, and it said, to key or not to key, that is the question. It's a wordplay on Shakespeare. So I thought, what, okay, a lot of people hack, right? So wordplay, I was like, what about, and older people will get this, I was like, how about hack that thing up? And they're like, no. But yeah, I tried. She came up with it on her own. Didn't need my help, but it was fun.
Good grief.
So looking forward to seeing those. Have you dropped it yet, or
No? It's weird because we recorded it on Riverside on her phone, and she tried sending me the link to listen to it on Facebook, and I have the app on my phone. She sent it to me and wouldn't let me listen to it, so she tried to send it to me through a link on Riverside. Wouldn't let her do that, so I haven't even gotten a chance to listen to it. So there's some kinks that we gotta work out.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, because I'm sure even if you go back and listen to our older ones, we didn't. It takes a while to get into your groove and to find out, because even at, like, I don't know, a year and a half in, we had kind of decided to maybe, because I noticed, like, our listens on Spotify, because I got to see those, that some of our subjects weren't getting the listens or the plays
as much as the others
that other ones were. So we ended up going into our old group that we no longer use, and I put up a poll, like, what would you like to hear? And most people wanted the true crime and paranormal stuff.
Yep. That's what because a lot of people are really into that nowadays.
Yeah.
So those are two of our main subjects that we will be spitting out episodes on.
And initially when we started this, true crime really wasn't going to be in the rotation. And then, like, after we started it, you and I talked about maybe doing, like, a true crime one. And Jenny was like, well, do some on here. So every once in a while we did. And those were the ones that really got a lot of play.
Yeah.
So when we had decided, like I said, I put up the poll, and we thought, well, we'll do something that we were calling Witchy Sprinkles, which that lasted maybe a month.
Witchy Sprinkles?
Yeah, where we talk about, like how to cleanse something, or things, things like that. Something like a little witchy in there.
Yeah, there's specific podcasts for that, and
well, I mean, it worked. We just stopped doing it. So, yeah. So, looking forward to when you get to drop that.
Yeah, and it's crazy because, like, it felt more like we were just talking to each other, obviously.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's not just, introducing ourselves, like, hi, I'm Liz, hi, I'm Judy, and this is the Dark Dahlia podcast and everything. We went on to, like, certain mini backstories of like certain like the genres we're gonna do and things like that, and how we even have our own personal stories of like paranormal stuff, and
I know you got them.
even reincarnation stuff.
Which that gets really interesting, especially like when kids remember things that they would have no business knowing about, and they do. It's crazy.
Yeah, wait to hear. That's literally pretty much the exact thing Liz said.
Yeah.
Because I started telling her about Dad and everything.
Yeah.
Yep. She's like, because I was like, I don't want to get too into it because I feel like I want that to be like a whole episode in itself.
Yeah.
So.
So, and because I was going to talk about it on here because Sean from Power Tripping Through the 80s, my buddy, but not my buddy right now because I just found out he doesn't really care for Cinderella.
Yeah, he doesn't fuck with them.
Just kidding, Sean. But Y&T, excellent choice. Kicks, also very good. So, I mean, I can't be that mad at you.
Yeah, not that
Just
bad.
Cinderella's still better.
The shade, Sean, the shade.
He is very into Titanic history and things like that. He talks about it in one of the episodes. So when I was on and they did their list of like the 80s horror movies and had me on, I was like, okay, I got to tell this story. I was going to do it on an episode, but I'm going to do it here because I kind of want to see his reaction. So I told this story. So if you want to hear the story, you have to go back a little bit on the PFC, Spotify, or wherever you listen, and go back to, I don't know what episode it is, but it's an episode that I'm on and I discuss it, and it's really a crazy story, and yeah.
Well, maybe that's something like you can be a guest on ours, and maybe that could be like an episode we both talk about.
All right, maybe.
That would be a good time.
Let's get to this.
Yeah.
I've actually started the notes. And you guys know me. I'm famous for starting notes, not getting them done. So I kind of just like look at my source, which in this case, my source is from paraholics.com. It looks like it was, I don't know if I'm getting the name right. Eval Aglaville, I don't know. If I butcher that, I'm sorry. They do have a lot of cool little like blog type things.
No, that's evil.
Well, I'm trying to be nice and say Eval because I don't want to call him evil.
Well, you know, because how Evil Knievel spell evil.
Yeah.
I mean, you drop the I.
I mean,
that's evil.
It could be, but it could also be Eval.
Well, if that person ends up listening, let us know how you pronounce your name, please.
Yeah.
That part.
So this is the Crump Theater in Columbia. Jesus Christ, words are so hard. Columbus.
Choose your hard.
Columbus, Indiana. And I'm going to start this with a quote from Sir Winston Churchill. First we shape our buildings, then our buildings shape us.
Okay.
Which is really, it's kind of deep. Because if you think about it, like childhood homes shapes who you are. Your school shapes who you are. Things like that. The end of October, October 30th and 31st was their opening weekend. So this year it will be 135 years.
Holy shite.
Yeah. So 1889, October 30th and 31st, 1889. And the first opera that played on that weekend was Pretty Persians. I have no idea what it's about. Maybe Pretty Persians. I don't know.
I mean, I would assume it's in the title.
Is it cats?
On crack?
Who knows?
About Persian cats?
Look, nope, I'm not going there. I'm not going there. We've already talked too long. there's a person at work that is a little too obsessed with his cat.
Does he like to play with it?
And I've made some statements.
Does he like to play with it?
Look,
And pet it?
let's just keep going. So Pretty Persians opera is what drew the crowd in for the opening weekend, and the front half of the theater is actually now, because this art blog was from 2 years ago, so I'm adding 2 years. It is, the front half of the building is 153 years old.
Oh, so it was already standing before it opened?
Some of it.
Oh, that's crazy.
Obviously. It doesn't really go into, I don't know, much about a build. I don't know. Look, I don't know.
She's not a construction worker. She don't know buildings.
My guess is maybe the front of it was a different business.
Like a storefront.
Like a
maybe?
storefront, post office,
Yeah.
Western Union type thing. Train station. I don't fucking know. But the rest of it was built, and the theater opened nearly 135 years ago. So the beginning of the theater's existence, it was strictly for stage plays, operas. I don't know if vaudeville was a thing at that time, but it was later like transitioned into where it would show film.
Yeah.
And now this is kind of where I'm going to go off on my own little tangent. Because, and as you know, and other people who have listened previously or know, a theater was a huge part of my life growing up. My, are you good? She's snotty.
My allergies. I'm not okay.
So it was a huge part of my life. My dad was a projectionist at a theater. And, you know, Wednesday nights, his boss took off. So he took a break from the theater, being a projectionist. And he was the one that stood there and took tickets and put them in this little thing that, you know, would, like, ground them up or whatever. I don't know. I don't know what happened to them once they went in there. I was never privy to that information. But my dad would set me up with a big bag of popcorn, which is still my favorite food, and a box of snow caps. And I would sit and watch on Wednesday nights whatever movie was playing. Now, my dad was one to not really care for swearing. He would be so fucking disappointed in me now.
As well as me.
You were his baby. And like I can remember seeing like E.T. there, and oh my god, so many fucking movies. Sometimes my brothers would go with me, sometimes it was just me. And so for me, there's like a lot of emotion tied up in theaters in general. But now if you stop and think about it, people go on family outings there. I think the last time we went on a family outing at that particular theater, we saw The Hangover Part 2. I don't even think I've seen the third one yet, but
I haven't either.
I fell asleep.
No, wait a minute. I thought it was you, me, Dad, and Uncle Jesse that we would go see Star Trek or something.
I've never seen a Star Trek movie in the theater.
No,
Nope, I take that back. Search for Spock, I watched at the Court Theater on a Wednesday night. Ha!
With me, Dad, and Uncle Jesse.
I was a child, so you were...
No! The four of us, I think Buddy went too. We all went to go see something together at the Court Theater.
I've never been to a movie with Jesse.
Yes, you... Okay.
Never. We had Uno with us.
No, Mom, it was Jesse.
I've never been to a movie with Jesse. Ever. But anyway, you stop and think about it. There's family outings. There's, you know, friend dates that you go to a movie with friends. Romantic dates. So right there's a lot of emotion tied up, like family, happiness, love, joy. I mean, not ours.
Right, unless you have our kids.
Friend dates, fun memories, probably laughing, probably going to see something like Bridesmaids or The Hangover, something like that. And then you got romantic dates where you're probably watching a rom-com. And you figure like all the different types of movies. There's romantic movies, there's comedies, there's action movies, there's drama, there's horror movies. So there's a lot of emotions tied up with what's going on the screen.
Yep.
And I am a firm believer in buildings holding energies, which will cause
What?
hauntings, you dick.
Whatever, glitter dick.
Okay. So anyway, there's a lot of emotion tied up in a theater.
Yeah, definitely. It absorbs memories and feelings and yeah.
Which creates
Haunting.
there you go.
I'm gonna fucking punch you in the taco.
Nope.
You just wait for
I'm
it.
gonna have you deported.
Don't do me any
I
favors.
said that to Rachel yesterday. Anyway, moving on. So this theater has had many renovations. Words are hard. Over the years.
Choose your hard.
Right. Yeah. So this is where my notes kind of end, and well, no, not really. It was closed down for many years. I think it closed. I was watching a video today, and I think she said 2014, and then in 2019 it was handed over to Jess Schnell. Oh my God! Please tell me, get your hair off me. Oh my God! I'm gonna cut it.
Don't you dare.
I believe it was fucking twat. It was handed over. We're just gonna call her Jess. I don't really. So, she was given this project to kind of renovate and get it back up and running for its intended purpose. And this is on a historic destination list. Get off your phone. Can't take you anywhere. So pissed me off. Do you like your hair? Okay, anyway, let me get my story out. I don't know what that was. I'm sorry. So, now, I was watching that video today, and there is, I missed the name because Dad was talking. Like a famous artist painted this mural on the wall.
Mural?
And it is outlined with glow-in-the-dark paint.
Ooh,
so
that's
when
gotta be
it's
nice.
dark, it glows. Of course, it was too light when they were showing this. Her name is Jess Schnepp. I knew it was something. So her and her team of volunteers were able to get the Crump Theater reopened, and still a lot of stuff to do, and that's kind of where this paraholics.com came in. They do a lot of paranormal tours and things there to kind of like draw in some interest. And, you know, a lot of times if you see, I have the opposite. I investigated a theater because of what it was, but most people will investigate a theater.
Words are hard. Choose your hard.
A lot of people are going to go to an investigation there and kind of like fall in love with the building and maybe go watch a movie there.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine.
So that's kind of what they were hoping by getting the Paraholics involved. Thanks. Oh my god, people are going to be like, no, never again. I'm done.
You bitches.
I'm done.
But we're fun. At least we're not dull.
So, one of the ghosts that is active within the theater is the lady in black. There's always a lady in something.
Right.
A lady in white, a lady in red, a lady in a wedding dress.
Yep.
This one just happens to be a lady in black.
Because black is better.
I mean...
Very slimming.
Very slimming.
Just about everything I own is black, unfortunately. I need to switch it up a little bit.
Yeah, I try, but I still... I mean, if you look at my closet, the hangers, it's black, 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 black.
Yeah.
A little bit of color, black, black, black,
Yep,
black, a little bit of
mine.
color. I don't know. I've just always been partial to wearing black.
Partial? You mean full on?
I mean, if I'm not wearing black, I want to be wearing neon, because that's just who I am as a person. Okay, so there are reports of seeing this woman in a black dress on the eastern staircase. I don't know how many staircases are in this place, but there's at least an eastern one. So maybe a western too.
Southern.
Could be. She is seen on this eastern staircase and in the main lobby. She has appeared so solid that workers were confident she was an actual person wearing like period style clothing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That would be so cool. So they kind of did... They try to narrow down who this lady in black could be. There's also a report of a young boy who has been seen. A large man in the ladies' lounge restroom upstairs, pervert. And many people...
Maybe he had identity issues.
It could be. People have reported being touched, and people report hearing disembodied voices. The writer of the blog has said that he has personally experienced being touched. So he says for his investigation, he wants to start at the beginning and kind of figure out who these people could be. So that leads us to the person that started it all was Colonel John A. Keith. And there's information about him. I'm not going to go into like a whole lot. So he built the front half of the Crump. Here we go. It is...
Was it like an apothecary or something?
I don't know. The original construction was known as Keith's Arcade, but not like the kind that we know with games and stuff. Doesn't say what the arcade was. Arcade selection of the building. People rent it and occupied it. And there was a law office of Colonel Keith, so apparently he was a lawyer too. And I mean, I wonder what kind of schooling back then you had to go to be a lawyer. Could you just say, "Hey, I'm a lawyer"?
Right, like I know how to argue, so let's do the damn thing.
Oh, you'd be great at it.
I know. Remember, Dad used to say that to me. You'd be a great lawyer.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
You definitely missed your calling. So, one notable tenant of the original building was Indus Infirmary, which claimed to be able to cure chronic diseases, especially cancer.
So an apothecary.
I guess maybe. So if you think about it, trauma.
Yeah, you give me trauma all the time.
Oh, fuck off. You should have swallowed you. Yeah, so there would have been a lot of trauma brought into the building with sick people and people who I'm assuming were giving false hope that their cancer would be gone.
Right. A lot of death, probably, for sure.
Yeah. So the front section is the oldest, and that was built in 1871, and the theater was built in 1889 on the back of the arcade. Until the renovation in the 1940s, the entrance into the theater was just one doorway, and a hall would take you to the venue area.
Yeah.
Colonel Keith had a colorful life, full of tragedy. It's documented he was a big drinker.
Who ain't?
He shot a passenger on a train, believing he was under attack from an advancing enemy.
Okay.
Yeah. He was later committed to Central States Asylum because he was ruled insane. And at that point, he lost his building, and John Crump bought it. The alcoholism and PTSD weren't the worst of Colonel Keith's tragedies.
Oh.
He had one child, Mary May. So her name was Mary, but May is in parentheses, so I'm guessing that was a nickname. Mary Demma Hill. Her death was known as the Zarega mystery. Zarega, yeah.
I gotta look that up.
Yeah.
I'll look it up for y'all.
Well, you'll find out in a second.
Oh, okay.
She married against her father's wishes a Columbus native named Edgar Hill, and the couple, Edgar and May, adopted the identities of Zarega's Spanish troubadours and performed music all over Europe as a guitar and mandolin ensemble. They claimed to be from Madrid, Spain. Not true. And they went under the aliases of Eduardo. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Zarega and Senorita Demma Terval. It was on May 6th, 1896, that May checked herself into a New York hotel under the name of Mrs. Everett of Boston, and 2 days later she shot herself and died. Allegedly. Alleged that it was suicide. Once authorities figured out her true identity, it was discovered that days before her death, her will was changed to leave her husband everything. And upon looking her over, there was bruising found on her body.
Oh, so he beat her all the time?
And witnesses coming forward alleged abuse, and the Keith family, so her remaining family, sued and contested May's will. But Edgar's father, it appears, was a very powerful man, and they basically lost the suit, and it devastated Colonel Keith. And there was an artist rendition of Mrs. Everett of Boston, which would be May Demma Hill. Okay, hold on. Sorry, I lost my spot. So the author of this article wonders if she could be the Black Lady, because this is the artist rendering of her in the paper. So maybe. Another possible suspect for the Lady in Black is Golda Coombs.
Okay.
So let's get into about her a little bit. Let me find her. Nope, they really don't have a whole lot on her. Sorry. She did die of gas, like passed out because of gas fumes and drowned in the bathtub. Her husband was out, and she actually died in the building. She was a tenant. Does it say?
What?
Does it say when? What year? Oh, 1920. So there wasn't an official death in the theater, but she was one of the people that rented.
The apartment.
Yes.
Okay.
And there was a gas leak. She passed out and must have been taking a bath because she drowned in the bathtub. What? What?
No. Oh, it said it was reconnecting, so I didn't know if, like...
Oh. I don't know. Some days, this is fucking stupid. So, the official report listed her as living in a Crump flat on 3rd Street. And the official name of the apartments that were in the Crump Theater at the time were the Opera House Flats. So, there is a possibility that she is a candidate for the Lady in Black. So there are a couple of videos that are included with this. I did start one, and very, very interesting what I saw, because in the first one, what I was able to see before we came in here to start recording was a lot of the stuff from the renovations in the 40s, like Art Deco.
Yeah.
Were still there, and when they took this Jess took on the project, they used a lot of things that were already in the theater to kind of bring it back to its
Natural state.
its natural state.
Yeah.
So now we're gonna jump into some timelines on here.
Yeah, that would be great.
So in 1860, mercantile owner, and these are, I'm going to read these as direct quotes from the blog.
Yeah.
Mercantile owner Isham Keith and Sons established a hardware store at the southeast corner of 3rd and Washington Streets, with Keith's Hall used for stage shows in the rear of 2nd floor. Credited as being the first theater in town. Between 1871 and 1874, Isham's son's attorney and Civil War veteran, John A. Keith, contracted for the 2-story building on the south side of 3rd Street to be constructed, known as Keith's Arcade, because of its architectural design of arches on the facade.
Are you sure it's not facade?
It might be. I don't know.
Let me see, where is it?
I'm not a wordist.
Where?
It might be facade. Follow along, bitch.
It's facade.
Okay, it's facade. It looks like facade. Anyway, from 1871 to 1889, merchants and businessmen rented space in the building, including newspaper, dining hall, restaurants, shops, medical and dental, and law offices, including John Keith's. Will you sit up? You look so unprofessional.
I'm stretching my back, man.
In 1872, F.J. Crump opens Opera House / Hall at 4th and Washington Streets, and this has been mistaken for the current Crump Theater. In 1873, Keith advertises for Keith's Grand Distribution Property raffle with arcade block worth $18,000 as second prize. That's a first prize. That's the grand prize in my book. What do I know? Definitely not facade.
What the fuck was the first?
Who knew? No idea. In 1885, Keith decides to build Opera House on 3rd Street, making present entrance to arcade entrance to that Opera House, which will be built to the rear and over arcade building. 1887 and 1887 to 1889, Keith was determined to be insane and taken to an asylum. At the time, he owed F.T. Crump $28,000. In order to satisfy the debt, David Stabo, court-assigned guardian, had most of Keith's property auctioned, and F.T. Crump purchased the entire estate. Businessman's son John Crump acquired Keith's arcade property for $6,000. Now, I'm sure back then, $6,000 was a pretty fucking penny. Keith was allowed to keep 2 rooms on the 2nd floor for free of charge for 2 years, which was nice.
Yeah.
That was nice. In 1889, Crump buys adjoining lot next to the arcade from Fred Donner and hires architect Charles Sparrow to add theater to the building. Arcade portion of the building remodeled. Section under middle arch became entrance to the theater. Ground floor rooms on either side of entrance rented for business purposes. Rooms on 2nd floor rented to day boarders. Day boarders. Jesus. And I still got to go to work today.
Choose your hard.
Have a big cup of shut the fuck up. Words Keith's Arcade AD 1871 was embedded within each arch at the top of the building, removed and replaced with Crump's new theater. Crump's new theater opened as city's first true opera house. It functioned as opera house and vaudeville theater for about 30 years. 1891, John Crump buys Bissell Hotel property and remodels to include tunnels underneath, which I'm reading a book right now.
Bissell Hotel, is that got anything to do with the vacuum cleaners?
I don't know, maybe.
It's spelled the same.
Yeah. In 1903, Crump's theater redecorating, including a new drop curtain and updated mechanics for moving large sceneries on the stage. It was also repainted, the auditorium. In 1905 to 1913, first movie reel shown at the theater. Later, a second projector needed so longer motion pictures could be shown. And this required substantial renovation to accommodate a larger projection room.
Does it list like whatever the very first ever legend movie is? Like, I've always wondered that.
I mean, you could Google it.
I'm Googling it.
Do it. Do it. Crump died in 1920 before his plan to make it bigger. In 1920, the first renovation of Crump Theater, Crump's heirs honor his wishes for remodeling and updating, movie projectors and movie screens installed, and original Keith's Arcade facade taken down. The Opera House flats, 2 apartments on 2nd floor, vacated, and Clarence Howe Barber Shop and Columbus Realty businesses relocated. What had originally been two separate buildings, Keith's Arcade and the actual theater adjoining at the rear, becomes one. 1923, Frank J. Rembush leases the theater. In 1929, first all talking movies shown at the theater. I know what the first talking movie was.
Well,
The Jazz Singer.
well, saying Roundhay Garden scene.
Okay. In 1931, Crump heirs sell the theater to Louis Hallwager, owner of Hallwager's Grand Opera House in Madison, which Crump had used as a model for his theater. 1934, Truman Rembush Syndicated Theaters acquires rental lease for Crump. Second major renovation, including new sound system and movie screen, more comfortable seating, and new carpeting. Bottom of interior lobby walls lined with black glass tiles and aluminum frames for movie posters. I've always wanted movie posters.
Oh, yeah.
Always.
Plastered all over the walls.
Well, because some of them are so cool, and they're not necessarily scenes from the movie,
Yeah.
and it's the only time you really see them is in the poster.
Right.
Okay. Contest to change the name of the theater announced. Elsie Harris wins first prize of $25 with Von Ritz. It's not very clever, Elsie. The name never changed as community resisted loss of name of theater's founder. New three-piece marquee in 1935. New three-piece marquee and electric lights on exterior. 1941, architects Alden Miranda completed third renovation that transformed building into current Art Deco design.
Miranda.
Whatever.
Well, it's spelled just like the Miranda rights. It's Miranda.
Isn't that what I said?
No.
Okay, whatever.
Miranda or some shit like that. It wasn't Miranda.
Well, just because it's spelled the same way doesn't mean it's pronounced the same way. I like mine. Shut the fuck up. Anyway, the building was transformed into Art Deco design, which was more in alignment with other contemporary theaters. Vitrolite front was added. I don't know what the fuck that is. 5-foot letters spelling out Crump vertically. Oh, okay, I get it now. Vertically attached to the single piece marquee running the length of the front installed. Okay, I got it. It's the words going.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I never knew that had a name. I did not know that.
I didn't either.
Okay. Ticket booth was relocated outside. Entrances and exits were placed on either side of the ticket booth. Main floor lobby was enlarged. Main restrooms were relocated to upstairs. New light-activated water fountains installed.
Ooh.
In 1941, Hallwager dies. Crump again passes to his heirs. 1949, Rembush's Syndicate Theaters buys Crump for $150,000. 50s and 60s peak popularity. 78 or 79, smoke damage from fire next door, destroying many historic pieces, and that makes me sad.
Very.
1987, Margaret Trust Fund, established by Rembush for children, seeks bids for demolition of the theater. 1989, Vernon Jewell buys the theater with the purpose of saving it from demolition.
Good shit.
Good on him.
Right.
1994, Columbus Capital Foundation purchases from Vernon Jewell. Save the Crump campaign begins. And then it goes into the timelines of the owners. I'm not getting into it. Whoa.
Holy shit.
That's a lot. That's a lot of stuff. So that is basically the theater. doesn't really go into too much of the haunting except for Lady in Black, a
Well, I
young
mean, even
boy,
then, it still don't.
a large man. But, I mean, think about it. I mean, pretty much,
It's just speculation, really.
yeah, like the smaller theaters that, like, not the big ones with, like, the EMAX or
Yeah.
shit like that, but, like, the small ones, like the Court and, well, the Temple's not a small one, but it's not part of a big,
Corporation.
yeah. They're fucking haunted. They're fucking haunted.
Very. Very, very.
Yeah. Actually, if you want to see things on the Court Street Theater, if you join Steve Shippey's Patreon, I'm going to just give him a quick shout out because of how important the Court Theater is to me. I'm going to shout it out because it's so cool. And it was his first series of, and it was like 26, 27 episodes. I'm in 2? 1? I'm in at least 1. It's a good watch. Check it out.
I mean, even just to check out all of his stuff, really.
Yeah.
Especially his movie, The Temple Theater.
Yeah. Well, that you can get just from his website,
Yep.
steveshippey.com. But yeah, Patreon, I think you can join it for like $8 or $9. I don't, maybe it's $7. I don't know exactly. But then you get access to everything he's put out. Highly worth it because there's like hundreds of hours worth of episodes. So I think we're going to end it on that note. Be on the lookout for Dark Dahlia.
Yep. Hopefully, it'll be out soon within the next week or so, give or take. I know we're finally going to do our actual recording of an actual episode this coming Saturday, the 26th. Yeah, 'cause today's 29th. Yeah, that's what
28th.
next Saturday, because today's the 21st, so whatever.
21 plus 7 is 28.
Shh! I'm not mathing right now.
All right. Anyway, I hope everyone had a great weekend, and we will see you next time.
Bye!
You hear them every Sunday on the PFC network. Now, you can support Jill and Jenny with the brand new store dedicated to Creepy Soup. From a variety of t-shirts, hoodies, and hats, to coffee mugs, towels, and backpacks, there's so many ways to show off your fandom for Creepy Soup. Head over to PFC Creepy Soup at printify.me for all things Creepy Soup as part of the PFC Entertainment Network.